This one fits way better. When doing this, you want to make sure you get the best fitting liner on the bottom. The process for installing the second ring is exactly the same. When starting to put the bolts in to hold the liner, you want to start on one side after tightening it with the jack. Start on one side and work your way around. In order to find dead center, you start with a drill bit that matches the size of the hole in the machine. You do not want to drill through all the way though. You just want to make a mark. The mark will give you your dead center point. We'll take a picture of that later. Then you take your drill bit that is the size for the tap, which in this case is 13/64. This is for a 1/4 inch national course bit. You feel and find the mark you just made and start drilling. Notice that I'm not drilling at high speed. Doing so will not only damage the bit, but it will harden the stainless steel. And you won't drill faster. When that hole is complete, you come back with a tap. It's important to make sure you put tapping lubricant each time you cut a hole. You want to be careful that you don't twist to one side or the other or up and down while tapping, or you will break your tap off in the hole. When putting your stainless steel bolts in, it's important that you put an anti-seize lubricant on the threads of the bolt. This is to prevent the two pieces of stainless steel from fusing together. Not very much is required. Just a very small amount on the threads. Put it in, and if you put everything together properly, it'll spin in with ease. Careful not to over tighten. Only 20 more to go. The next step, now that the liner is bolted in, is to remove the excess material from the liner sections. You'll notice the edge where the door opening is. That is our guideline that we'll be cutting the liner with. To do so, we make sure that our cut is perpendicular to the frame, keeping us with a square-edged opening. That has to be done on both sides of the door. Caution is really necessary to make sure you do not go past the edge and onto the steel here. Only cut liner. You'll notice we have a light set up here for this. It's difficult to see the difference between the two metals when the grinder is cutting. The sparks tend to obscure it, so it's important to have enough light and a comfortable position to work from while making the cuts. You'll notice that our technician is wearing safety gear, leather jacket, a full face shield, because as he cuts, the heat from the sparks can end up burning. So gloves are also a vital necessity. You'll notice that the cut he's making is not all the way through. It's a very light pass. We do this so that we can make sure we're close to the edge, but not cutting into it. Later, as we work our way deeper, we'll cut all the way through. You need to make the cut slow and progressive. You'll notice at the bottom and at the top there is a piece left over. You cannot get all the way into the corners with the grinder. So we will finish this off with either a hacksaw or a bandsaw. As you can see, the procedure is the same on each side. It's very important not to grind aggressively. It just destroys the cutting disc and overheats the stainless. Cuts are made, you will see there is a little edge that's sticking out. And this edge for the whole length will have to be adjusted ever so slightly, especially at the tops and bottoms where it was cut with the bandsaw. So we do this with the use of a flat sander, like this one, and a grinding disc. Take your time, there's no rush. If it takes an hour, it takes an hour. If it takes two, it takes two. The important thing is to do a good job. For our grinding, we use a Walter brand Enduro flex disc. We use these because they have good wearability and they grind well. We use an 80 grit or a 120 grit. When grinding off the bolts, you will see that the grinder does not cut into the wall. It only removes the portion sticking out, leaving you a nice finished product. Fitment of the door, once the grinding is done, is simply a matter of test fitting the door itself. Be very careful. There's a lot of sharp edges, and if you drop it, it could break a toe. Once done, you can see inside that it's a nice tight fit. And we're ready to grind off all these bolts, and fitting the liner is now complete.